Good morning, welcome to Marco on Markets. This channel is for educational purposes only and shares my personal opinions and investment process. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial product advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any investment. Always do your own research and consider obtaining advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Good morning. It's Wednesday the 5th of August, 2026, 9:52 a.m. My name's Marco Sheena, and we'll just have a look at the pre-market open indicator from NAB. So we've got a open higher of 43 points or 0.47%. So a decent sort of gain to open up. Overnight on the US market, we had some strong gains. I'll just go to the live data there. So the Nasdaq was up 2.5%, and the S&P 500 closed 1.79%, and the Dow Jones closed 1.71% higher. So quite healthy gains on the market. Let's just have a look at some of the overseas stocks to see what that represents. This is not all of them, just some that I follow. So on the increasing side, we've got Apple 1.94%, Tesla 1.6%, Pfizer 1.52%, Alibaba 1.33%, and on the lower side we had Amazon down 2.32%. Meta was flat at 0.39% down. So not huge numbers, but there must be other stocks in that index. So we'll have a look at the pre-market open numbers. A lot of broking firms will give you a price indicator of the open price depending on the number of orders in the system. This does change quite significantly, especially in the last sort of few minutes before open, and probably shouldn't be relied upon. Although sometimes it is good, but so you can see here we've got, say for Aristocrat, the last price was 65.23 and the opening price is expected to be around the same. If we refresh that, you can see that's just changed now to 22 cents. So it does change around. I have used that to my advantage in the past where, you know, I've had a sell order on and the opening estimate has been significantly higher, and so I've actually taken the order off to watch it open higher and then sell at a higher price. But just generally looking at all these prices, they look all to be fairly positive or on the higher side. The only one that stands out is Macquarie. Last trade 263, opening price 261. Which looks down to me, but as I said, it will bounce around, and we'll see that open in about 3 minutes. I'll just have a look at my holdings. As you know, I've only got that one Accent Group at the moment, which is now 573 days, which has been a long trade, and it's drawn down after dividends adjusted 62.9%. I am just looking to hold, and hopefully someday that will come back. It may not. I'll assess that in time to come, whether to move on from that position, because whilst holding a stock for a long period of time in the hope that it comes back, two things: one, it may never come back, and two, that is costing you opportunity costs. So for example, if I was to sell that $12,000 market value now today, and then I don't know, if I was able to get, say, let's call it 5%, I could put it into a loan and reduce interest by 5%. That's $600 a year. If it was to take, let's say it was to take 5 years to come back, then that would be an additional 3,000. Look, if it could come back in 5 years, then I would be claiming back the 25,000. I'll get some dividends in the end. But yeah, the opportunity cost is sort of $600 a year at the moment based on this market price. So I'm willing to just sit it out, if we can sort of, even if this doubled in the next 5 years, I think it would be better than cashing it out, taking the loss. It is distracting as well, having one sit there for a long period of time, but it does also work as a reminder of what not to do. So, and I need that to be my lesson. The biggest lesson there was to not double down. I'll just show you those trades. So I purchased in January of 2025 at $2.39. And then about 3 weeks later, it had dropped. And at the time, I had doubled down before with other stocks or averaged down the unit price. When you do that, you can actually get out of your trade much earlier. That is on the assumption that it goes up. So I purchased another lot at $2.28. And what happened? It just continued to fall. And by March, it was down to $1.76, where I purchased a third parcel. That was just done with some dividends, again, to reduce the cost. But today we sit here at 70 cents. So the biggest mistakes in all this was, well, the first mistake was picking the wrong stock, but the other mistakes which could have been avoided was adding more money to it. So that's the only position for today. I have got 3 parcels of funds to deploy. I'm just waiting for opportunity. So let's have a look at the market open now. We'll refresh. This is my approved list. So we've got a little bit of red on the screen today, which is good for me. I do prefer to buy when a stock has fallen a little bit, because I always feel like it's got a chance to recover. So leading the list is JB Hi-Fi at 0.82%, Centre Group 0.75% down, Accent Group 0.7% down, and Coles down 0.5%. And on the positive side, we've got NAB up another 0.3%, Aristocrat up 0.18%. And then the rest on my list are negative. So NAB's really done well. It's had so many positive days in a row. I'll just have a look at their chart. If we go to chart and then say look at 1 month, daily, and then I'll do the candlestick chart. And this really, you can see the positives. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, they've had 8 positive days and 2 negative days, and the negative days haven't really dropped that much. They've pretty much stayed flat to the previous. It might have been down by a couple of cents. So yeah, it's been a really nice graph to watch, the NAB bank. So good on you, NAB, and well done to all the NAB shareholders out there. Just have a look at the watch list again. I do find the market open is one of the best times to buy, because prices do fluctuate a lot. So, the ones that I'm looking at is a supermarket. So I just need either Coles or Woolworths to come down a bit more The banks are really now sort of out of my price zone because they have gone up quite significantly in the last sort of 3-4 trading days. So I just don't feel like I'm going to be at a good price to sell. So I did eye off Aristocrat, but I think I've missed that boat at the moment. And West Farmers I also was interested in. So again, I think I'm at a point where I'm just unable to buy. At what you need to, what I will need to do is reassess some of the pricing. So sometimes you have to accept that, you know, this may never get back to $60 again. So 65 might be the new price for, say, Aristocrat as an example, and then work from that basis. Same with Sigma. You know, I like it at around the $2.80 mark, but it might not go down that low again. So I'll just continue to watch it. Let's have a look at the ASX 200 and see how that looks. We'll do the 5 losers to start with, and then we'll move over to the 5 biggest gainers. So Woodside Energy down 2.46%. They are oil and gas. Santos is oil and gas as well, $2.19. We've got Pinnacle Investments, that's down 1.13%. Telstra's down 2.17%. And Beach Energy, which is also oil and gas, is down 2.19%. Excuse me. Rightio. So actually that's 2 days in a row now where we've seen the gas and oil going down. And on the plus side, let's have a look at these 5 leaders there. So we've got 360, Life 360, which is the app, the family tracking app / communication tool, up 4.81%. That's had some very good, I'll just go into the chart, very good growth in the last sort of month or so. So from the 23rd of July to today, it's up 29%, which is very significant. We've got Lynas Rare Earths, so that's non-gold precious materials. That's up 5.68%. We've got Predictive Discovery, that's a gold, which is up 4.58%. That also has had popped up on the charts recently. Let's just have a look at the last month. It's been up and down quite significantly. So because it's such a small priced stock, so it's at the 68 cents mark, you know, if it moves, you know, if it moves 6 cents, then that's like 10%. So, and I would say the volume may not be that great. So these smaller share prices can move quite, as a percentage, that can move quite significantly just because of their price value. Okay, we've got WiseTech Global, 4.8%, so that's another positive day there. I'll just have a look at their chart because they've popped up a few times in the last week. So they are starting to make some improvement. So if you look at that from the 24th of July to today, they've increased like 30%. So it's quite a significant increase. But for the shareholders that have had it for a long time, it's actually down quite a bit. So if you purchased, say, at the peak, which was around here, it's still down 69%. So shares can be very volatile. And the last one is Capstone Copper. Okay, that's up 4.96%. I'll just have a look at the watch list one more time of my approved purchase watch list. And then we might call it a day. Centre Group's down 1.25%. I might have a look at that. That's been bouncing around a little bit. Viva Energy, I do like that at around the $2.10 mark. It's had some significant growth in the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's going to come off now for a bit, so I wouldn't touch that. Woolworths are still down at 0.86%. I'll have a look at that graph as well. I'll just calculate some exit prices. Accent Group, I'm not going to add more money to that. Coles is down 0.49%. We'll just see which opportunity is better there. So with Woolworths, the first thing I like to do is, all right, so just in that moment from changing screens, it's increased from down 0.86% to down 0.4%. So can move a lot. All right, so it's at $40 now. If I bring up my calculator, $40.10, add 2.22%, which is 2% margin, 0.2% cover fee. So I've got to try and get to $41. If I have a look at the graph chart, and then let's have a look, say in the last 6 months, $41 is up here. I just really struggle to see it going. So that would be an all new high. So the last one I'll look at is a trend indicator called the simple moving average. We change that to 89 days, and we try not to buy below the line. So it's well bit above the line. So that's on the safer side of the trend indicator. So that's okay. Let's refresh that and see if it's changed any. Okay, so it's still at that $40. Okay, Centre Group, I do like Centre Group. They do all the retails, Westfield retail stores in Australia. Okay, it's generally on an upward trend. If you look at that, if we just apply the indicator, the trend indicator, SMA, then we'll go to 89 days. And it's above the line as well, so that's good. And then if we just calculate an exit price, again, it looks like we're going to hit a, it's at $3.96 times 1.022. It's got to go to $4.04, $4.05. Hasn't been above $4 since the start of the year. So I'm tending to not like that price either. And finally, Coles at $24.30. Look, I already know this one's on the high side. I was hoping it would get to back into sort of the $23 range. So again, on a year graph, it's pretty much at an all-time high, $24.30. And that takes it to $24.83, so up to here. So I'm not really comfortable with that. If I was looking for a shorter term gain, I might consider that. But generally, I'm looking to try and get 2%. And sometimes I will pull out earlier and take 1% if it starts to stall or it looks like not doing too well. And I think, yes, again, there's not going to be an opportunity for me this morning, but you have to be patient as a short-term trader. You don't want to force a trade. I'll just have a look at another list that I have, which is just an Australian list, just to see what the general vibe is. All right, I've got Telstra down 1.28. I mentioned that before. This is Air Tusker. It's not something I would invest in, but I've just been interested in watching the share price since they floated, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a bit less. And then the gain is WiseTech Global's up there. Domino's 2.2%. ARB up 2.3%. Qantas up 2.5%. Okay. Zip Pay and Before Pay are both up 1.8% and 2.65% respectively. Zero Software up 1.2 and REA Group also up 1.69. So pretty positive day. There's a mix. So there's definitely technology stocks. There looks like there's some mining stocks from the ASX 200 list that I looked at, and not a lot of negatives there. I think we had negatives in the fuel and oil, also telecommunications there. Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. I'll try and do a market close this afternoon. Wednesday's a pretty busy day for me, but I'll try and do that. Or if a buying opportunity comes up, I might come on earlier and cover that. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.